Dispatched to arrest pro-life activist Mark Houck at his Pennsylvania home. The Bureau telling Fox News no SWAT team or SWAT operators were involved. FBI agents knocked on the door, Mr. Houck's front door, identified themselves, and asked him to exit the residence. He did so and was taken into custody without incident. His wife has a drastically different story. Let's bring in Fox News contributor, former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Newt, here we go again, right? With the big-time raids, with someone who's zero threat. Well, we don't know what the Ring doorbell is going to show, but for the most part, it seems like the FBI is overstocked for something.
Look, I think when you have the President of the United States give a speech in Philadelphia that describes half of his fellow Americans as enemies, and uses that kind of language, you have an escalation. Here's a guy who was homeschooling 7 children. I don't know the details. I'm more inclined to believe the wife, frankly, than the Bureau. But apparently the thing they came to get him for had been dismissed by a U.S. district judge last summer as being nonsense. So, and by the way, remember, this is a man who voluntarily drives 2 hours into Philadelphia to be a missionary to people who are drug addicts, alcoholics, people who have had their lives shattered. And instead of glorifying a person who was speaking for God and raising his children and trying to be a good person,
right,
you have the U.S. government apparently sending people with weapons at 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, why did they feel they had to go at 7 a.m. when and his 7 kids, imagine what they're watching as their father's taken away.
I know, and plus Peter Navarro says, I don't know why I was going to turn myself in. You had same thing with Roger Stone. Why don't you just ask who to turn myself in? They raid President Trump Mar-a-Lago resort with no reason. There was a reason, but they could have continued cooperating, you would think. Let's move on and talk about the midterm elections. Real quick, the top issues now facing voters, 85% say the economy, 79% say inflation, 77% say education, and then the next one is crime. Then comes abortion. Abortion is shrinking, and those top 5 issues are heavily plus Republican, but yet in most people are stopping short of saying there'll be a red wave. What do you think, Newt?
Well, I think the Republicans are going to get somewhere between 20 and 70 seats in the House and somewhere between 3 and 7 seats in the Senate. And it's just a question of on Election Day, or nowadays since we vote for a whole month, on Election Month, when somebody goes in to vote, do they remember the last time they went to the grocery store? Do they remember the last time they filled up their car? I paid $5.05 a gallon on Saturday. And Biden the other day was totally false in claiming the price of gasoline. He used a number that doesn't exist and has not existed anywhere in America since he's been president. So you have to assume the White House is deluded and sitting around in a fantasy world. But I think as real Americans face crime in the street, they face prices at the gas station, prices at the grocery store, and they're going to start facing layoffs as the Federal Reserve keeps raising interest rates. I just think in the end they go in and say this ain't working and they vote against the Democrats, and that means they vote Republican.
If you want to get on the stump, I would think, and you want to say the forecast looks like this and then hope people believe it, that's one thing. But to tell people something different about the reality they're living is a little crazy, especially when we think the next thing that's going to be hitting us is and it might hit us already, is the housing market, whether people are walking away from buying a home or saying, I'm not going to leave a home that I'm paying 3% for and then pay 6.5%. So that just freezes the housing market, and that has ripple effects.
Well, and remember, you've got about 20 million families now that have not been able to pay their electricity bills. How many of them are going to start having their electricity cut off? And frankly, you can't function in a modern society without electricity. I just think all of these things are compounding, and I think that in addition, you have the rejection. You mentioned that education was a big factor. You know, when Fetterman, the Democrat in Pennsylvania, came out for mandatory education about gay and lesbian and transgender issues, my guess is most Pennsylvanians think, you know, they don't want to have the federal government mandating that sort of thing. And again, one more example where the left has gone off into wokeness and left the rest of the country behind.
And you know who agrees with you? A liberal Democrat called Bill Maher. He said the same exact thing. because they do crazy. He goes, Democrats would be doing very well right now if they wouldn't do such crazy woke things. And let's see what happens and what happens in November. Thanks, Newt. Talk to you again. And congratulations on your book. It's still a great thing to get. It's called Defeating Big Government Socialism.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.